Growing up, I was a weird child. Granted, I'm still pretty weird now as an adult, but child me was on a whole different level. I'd say one of the biggest reasons was a complete lack of social skills because I didn't know how to talk to people or act with them and hadn't learned yet. I should note that I've mellowed out a lot since becoming an adult and have learned to properly communicate with people. One of the bigger things that made me weird was how sneaky I was. I've already talked about how I have the weird ability of going unnoticed to people in a previous video of mine, which I recommend you all should watch, but not now. After this video you can. Anyways, I've always been a bit odd for others, not always being able to quite connect or fit in the way others could. Oftentimes, it would result in me getting bullied. A lot. Most of the time, I would confuse people with some of the stuff I'd say. Sometimes you could even see the words processing in their head after I'd say something out of pocket. Hey, did you know that babies that came out feet first technically wear their mom as a hat? What? I did this all the time, and seeing people's reactions were always funny to me. Shit like that is probably why people thought I was autistic and why I got put in special classes growing up. I actually didn't even know they were special classes until years later. I feel like what also caused people to think that was how I would act with closed doors. Anytime I got in trouble with something minor, my parents would just close the door and I would apparently lose my goddamn mind. I eventually grew out of it and now prefer my door to be closed. Another weird thing about me growing up was that I was keenly aware of my surroundings and could quickly remember stuff. For example, my sister once had a friend come over and spend the night at our house. This was also during the time when the friend was moving, and because of that, she couldn't remember where she lived. But because I had been there to pick her up, I remember where to go and had to be the guide back. I think I was 4 or 5 whenever this happened, so I imagine that was pretty weird. Speaking of my sister, I once scared the shit out of her when I was a little kid. This story took place around the same time, I think. I had just woken up from a weird dream I had about being abandoned at the mall, stuck on an escalator that continuously went up with no end to it. I got out of bed and noticed that my brother wasn't in the bunk bed below me, so I went around the house trying to find someone, but found myself alone. Being the resourceful kid I was, I got the bright idea to head over to the neighbor's house and wait there for my parents to get back. She was a lovely lady that let me lay on her couch and watch this weird French cartoon, even though she wasn't French. After about an hour or so, I see my mom's car pull into the driveway, thank the neighbor, and head over. As soon as I walk inside, my sister tackles and holds me close to her, bawling her eyes out. As it turns out, she had been home the whole fucking time. Apparently having been wrapped up in her blankets, sleeping whenever I had looked into her room for her. When she woke up, she saw the front door wide open and me gone. She then called my parents hysterically at the fact that I was missing. I felt so bad for making my sister worry and started crying with her. Mostly because I was a kid and didn't fully understand that what I did was fucking stupid. But yeah, that's how I was as a child. If any of you guys have a weird story from your childhood, please comment them down below. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more of my content. With that being said, I hope y'all have a good one.